Backlash is only a week away. Well, a week from this Saturday on May 9th. Already, we're talking about another PLE. It feels like we just wrapped up WrestleMania, but Monday Night Raw was live last night, and it pushed things forward towards Backlash. We only have 3 matches as of this recording that are confirmed for Backlash, and that is the World Heavyweight Championship with Roman Reigns taking on Jacob Fatu, Seth Rollins taking on Bron Breakker, and Io Sky versus Asuka. I would imagine probably 2 more matches at most will be added to the PLE, and we're going to have SmackDown probably do just that coming up on Friday. So, what's the backlash, pun intended, from any of the releases? Well, WWE had in total 24 releases, and most of the pressure has been put on WWE from Io Sky's release. And I went over this in detail on a video. Many of you agreed. Many of you, quite frankly, didn't. And that's cool. With my analysis and how really that WWE has the right to do this. And they do. They do. And all of a sudden you're having people come out and say, well, there was so much support for Io. Where? Or rather, Kairi Sane, I should say. Kairi Sane, not Io. I misspoke. So for Kairi, all of a sudden, there's everybody yelling and screaming about how WWE was unfair and they should have done more. Again, where were you when she was here? If it was so important that she be pushed further and further, where are you? When it actually matters. Not when WWE does something that you don't like or like to jump on the bandwagon of. And it sounds like I'm being an apologist for TKO. I'm not. I hammer them on most things. But on this end of things, they have the right to do it. And we'll see if WWE or TKO end up caving to the pressure, because it's going to take a sustained effort by fans. This can't be something that's one and done. It has to be something that the fans consistently push the company to do. And it has to translate not just online, but in person. I've said that before. You have to start hearing Io Sky chants. I'm sorry, I keep saying Io Sky. Kairi Sane. You have to keep hearing Kairi Sane chants. If you don't, it's over. And my guess is, based on our culture, that we can't pay attention for any more than but maybe 4 to 5 seconds. It's going to fade away. And it's going to fade away quickly, because that's kind of how things go. And if I'm the company, I'm just waiting it out. I'm probably sticking with my decision. I'm just waiting it out, because if I don't, that's going to empower fans to bitch and complain about things that we do, the release, people that we release that they don't like, that it then educates the fans to, hey, all they have to do is complain loud enough and hard enough and we'll reverse our decision. So from their perspective, that's probably what they're going to do. And if I was on their side, I probably would do the same. I would wait this out. I'd let the noise quiet, because the news cycle of something else will take over. It always does. So I'm guessing they're probably not going to bring Kairi Sane back. If they do, I'll be surprised, but it would take a sustained effort on the end of fans to continue to do that. Now, I will say too that we had Nick Khan recently talk about the vocal minority and how there's a vocal minority of fans that are upset with the creative. I mean, either he is stupid or he's trying to minimize the backlash. Again, I'm pun intended, I guess. Because if that was true, then the vocal minority also got the main event of WrestleMania 40 changed. The vocal minority also brought R-Truth back. The vocal minority also started the women's revolution. You see, you can't have it both ways. You can't. And it also pushed Daniel Bryan to the main event of WrestleMania 30 to win the Undisputed Championship at WrestleMania 30. So he's just trying to, I think, save face and protect the company, protect himself, make everything look good to the shareholders and stockholders. That's what he's doing, because it's not a vocal minority. You see, a lot of fans, if you didn't know this, and this may be a secret that I'm giving out, a lot of fans have access to the internet. Not every fan does, and not every fan that loves something or hates something will let you know. But most fans, if not all, have access to the internet. And just because you don't like something doesn't mean it's a minority of people. If it's such a minority, by the way, where are all the people praising things? Again, we live in a culture where we like to complain. At the same time, if you believe it's a minority, well, where's the majority? How do you know that there is a majority that feel the opposite? See, it's completely an easily debunked theory by Nick Khan. He's attempting to mitigate damage, and that's his job. But it is very annoying as a fan, knowing that as fans, this is not a minority. If it's also a minority, why did they boo the hell out of everything that was being done in the Randy Orton Cody Rhodes story all the way through and past WrestleMania? So, yeah, I don't think so. All right. Getting that out of the way, I want to welcome you to the show. Thank you for joining us, and you can go ad-free at patreon.com/WWE podcast. Do not forget, that is a great place to go for ad-free shows that we have, all shows, and multiple videos every single week. I'll probably be doing one tomorrow. I might do one tonight, but we'll see how I feel at the end of the show. And that will be posted at some point tomorrow, whether it's tomorrow morning, tomorrow night, it'll be one of those. And I hope that you check us out over at patreon.com/WWE podcast. So let's talk about Monday Night Raw. Let's get through it and dive into the details. It emanated from, Laredo. I thought it was Lubbock. Laredo, Texas, at the Auto Arena, the Sam's Auto Arena. Apparently the AC went out, which is why Roman Reigns was sweating his ass off. I was wondering at the end of the show, I'm like, he didn't exactly exhaust himself, but apparently the AC went out in the arena. But the show opened with a video package and Reigns and the Usos, and while they're all sitting in chairs near the end of a table, Reigns said he couldn't understand where Fatu was coming from. Jay spoke about how Fatu would be the shot caller if he beats Reigns. And Jay told Roman that there should be consequences. Reigns said Jay is right. Reigns said he would chew on it and make his own and address it later tonight. Jay said family first, and they all put their hands together. And Reigns said the first family. So, if you didn't know, they're also not the only. Wrestling does have more than one royal family. He didn't say that, but kind of implied. Okay, so the ticket sales, in case you're wondering, WrestleTix listed the venue as being set up for $85.93, with 8,246 tickets being distributed a couple hours before the show, and the listed capacity is 10,000. So in other words, it wasn't a sellout. About 80% of the listed capacity was sold, if you care about something like that. So Seth Rollins comes out, and the crowd chanted his entrance theme, as they have done for years now. Rollins said Breakker is the reason he lost to Gunther and that Roman Reigns has his world championship. Rollins said he knew Breakker was backstage with 9 staples in the back of his head. You're welcome for that, Rollins said. Breakker comes out, and he went face to face with Rollins, who said he gave Breakker everything. And Rollins asked what Breakker got out of costing him the championship in the WrestleMania match against Gunther. Heyman teased talking for Breakker and then handed Breakker the mic. And Breakker said that he questioned what he got from Rollins and then held his nose close while mocking Rollins, delivering his catchphrases. And Breakker said the only reason he teamed up with Rollins was that he needed Heyman. Rollins recalled going to NXT and facing Breakker after Shawn Michaels said he was the best the brand had to offer. He also recalled Heyman pitching the idea to Rollins of taking Breakker under his wing. Rollins said he was all for it because of where Breakker could be 1 year later. And Seth recalled Bron losing when he challenged for the world championship, and Rollins said Breakker tries while he does. And Bron Breakker said that he may have come up short in the title match, but Rollins is the best thing at being number 2. Really not a great line. But Rollins called Breakker Baby Steiner and asked if he came up with that line on his own or if Big Papa Pump was his hookup. And Rollins said he would give Breakker a match at Backlash to prove he's ready. He said, Rollins said, Steiner, you're not even number 2 in your own family. And that was it. This was okay. I know that the analysis here saying it's a good verbal exchange, setting up the match for Backlash. Breakker held his own. Fine. Breakker has held his own. That's been, I think, the theme of his promo work thus far. He has held his own. I don't think he's done outstanding. He had the promo of his career against CM Punk, which was the January, was that the January 6th edition of Raw? Yeah. So I think he did a great promo there. But outside of it, I don't think he's really reached where he can get yet. He's got the confidence. He doesn't have the words quite yet, maybe. But he's on his way, and he's ahead of where most are at his age and experience. So I'm hopeful because he's slow but steady, and holding his own is a perfect way to put so far how he's been. It doesn't blow you away, but he impresses you with what you expect from someone of his experience level. So, moving on, we get the Intercontinental Champion Penta taking on Rusev in a non-title match, with Penta beating Rusev in 7.5 minutes. Again, title not on the line. The finish was Penta teasing a springboard move before holding onto the ropes, which caused Rusev to miss with a kick, and then Penta rolled up Rusev for the 3 count. But afterwards, Rusev hit Penta from behind. Ethan Page enters the ring, removes his jacket, and then rolled up his sleeves while Rusev was beating down Penta. And then it was a beatdown. Javon Evans comes out, and he hits Page with a springboard clothesline. And then Penta recovered and super kicked Rusev. And then Ethan hits Rusev with an OG cutter. That was just crazy. And then Penta approached Evans and raised his arm. So Rusev loses here, but he gets his heat back quickly. And the analysis that I'm reading, according to Pro Wrestling Net, credit to them, said, I'm mildly surprised with Rusev taking the loss when Penta would have had an out for losing due to Page distracting him, but I'm not going to complain about getting a clean finish. Well, yeah, I mean, low bar, right? But yeah, Rusev lost, even though he's been kind of built up just prior to and afterward WrestleMania as a monster. He was looked at as one of the favorites to win the IC title in the ladder match at WrestleMania. He obviously didn't. But yeah, he takes a loss here, but it was one of those kind of roll up quick, not with tights, but just one of those roll up quick 3 counts. It wasn't like he hit his finish and then lost. That's much more of a clean finish, a decisive, definitive finish. But he got his heat back instantly, so people aren't even remembering the fact that Rusev lost. The focus is on the beatdown and Javon Evans saving him. And you know that an Ethan Page and Rusev versus Penta and Javon Evans tag team match is probably in the cards for next week, if it's not already on the card. I will say too, I mean, boy, Javon Evans, the dude's got springs in his feet. He is just a freak. It's got like go gadget legs, and that's a compliment to him. He's so young, so athletic. The only criticism, because I got to give one, he doesn't lay his shit in, as Steve Austin would say. He's very soft with how he delivers, and I know he's trying to be safe, and I'd much rather have safe than wild and injury prone. But it feels very choreographed. It doesn't feel organic, like he's been practicing what he's about to do for weeks. With his maneuvers don't feel like it's off the cuff and he's just trying to beat down his opponent. He's always trying to do some kind of gymnastics stunt. It feels very much choreographed with Javon Evans, with the way he moves and everything else. Again, however, complimentary to him, he is and may be the single most athletic man on the entire Raw roster. Now, I know that covers a lot of ground, including Logan Paul, who in his own right is one of the best athletes that the company has right now. but maybe from a pure just floating in the air athleticism, if that's a thing. Somehow, maybe he's got the best anti-gravity presence on the roster. Does that make sense? I don't know how else to put it. He's like a whisper in the wind. Shout out to Jeff Hardy. That's kind of what he is. And it makes you excited for the things he can and might do moving forward. But I will say, this is only going to take him so far. His athleticism and his youth are huge factors and positives on his side. What's going to eventually ceiling him, cap him, is that he needs a personality. He needs to break away at some point. Doesn't need to be now. He's got the attention of the fans because he's just incredibly athletic. But eventually he's going to need to figure out the microphone portion of things on a consistent basis and show the fans who he is. Because as we all know, that's where the real money lies, is in promos. Athletic wrestlers are a dime a dozen. Now, you can have ultra athletic like Javon Evans and Logan Paul and others. And that has a certain audience, but where the real money lies is in promos. Your lips talk people into seats. It's not your athleticism. I'll continue to hammer this because it's an overlooked aspect of wrestling today, or even a forgotten aspect of wrestling today. You can have the most athletic body ever built in the world, right? You could have some kind of genetically modified physique. But if you're in the ring and you have an audience that doesn't know who you are, what your mission is, what your good and bad personality looks like, how can they or can they not relate to you? If they aren't able to connect with you, they aren't going to give a shit what you can do in the ring beyond what can you do for me? Meaning they'll react to the moves you make, but they're not going to really care if you win or lose. That's a really bad place to be, because you're putting your body on the line essentially for nothing, because the fans ultimately, and at the end of the day, don't care if you win or lose. So the athleticism and the that just youth that he has, which again is very much on his side, it's a good starting point. It's a really good starting point. But eventually, you're going to have to be able to speak on the mic and talk people into seats and having them care why you win or lose. So let's move on here. We have already 20 minutes into the show, and I'm only one match in. So we have Becky Lynch come out to cut a promo. She talked about how she got rid of AJ Lee once and for all. And she said she became the first wrestler in history to win 4 different titles at WrestleMania. The first 3-time women's IC champion, and now has the most matches of any female at WrestleMania. And she recalled seeing her daughter in the front row, and she spoke about how it's not about the 5-star hotels and other perks. It's about going to run-down towns like Laredo. She said the fans want her to fight the best of the best, and she issued an open challenge. This open challenge deal, WWE gets on these tangents where, for example, pull-apart brawls. All of a sudden, everyone's doing pull-apart brawls. This masked mystery attacker, they get on that for months, and it's in various storylines. And then they get in this open challenge, just fascination, or I don't know what it is. How many open challenges have we seen over the last several months? The United States Championship on the men's side has changed hands how many times because of an open challenge over the last 4, 5, 6 months? Brock Lesnar issued an open challenge for WrestleMania. Obafemi's now doing it, and we'll talk about that. Becky Lynch is now doing it. I think at one point the Intercontinental Championship, maybe once or twice over the last couple of months on SmackDown, or on SmackDown. I think this needs to take a chill pill. I love open challenges as a concept when it's done sparingly, but it seems like everybody's down for the open challenge. And that tells me that they don't, when you use an open challenge this frequently, kind of tells me creative's out of ideas. It means they don't have a defined opponent for you moving forward. That's what it means. They're just saying, hey, you know what? We're going to just make it we're going to have you face various people over the next several months because we don't have someone lined up for you. So the open challenge is a crutch for, we don't have anyone. That's what that is. I mean, it's just a fact. It's not exclusively used for that, but when you have this type of frequency of the open challenge being used, simply what it is. But Io Sky comes out and answers Lynch, and a Kyrie chant did break out, guys. It did. Keep an eye on that. Sky smiled and then told Lynch that she accepted her challenge, and Lynch recalled saying she wanted to face the best of the best. That's not Sky. And Lynch wondered if Sky was accepting on behalf of Rhea. Lynch said she wanted to face Shawn Michaels, not Marty Jannetty, and Sky hit Lynch, and she scurried out of the ring. Okay. I mean, Io Sky and Becky Lynch, I don't really have any complaints about this. I don't. Now, the analysis here is funny because I was thinking the same thing when I was watching this about the reference to Marty Jannetty. The analysis says, before anyone tries to say the Jannetty line was too dated, the live crowd gasps say otherwise. Yeah, they did. I was worried because that Marty Jannetty incident was like 35 years ago. I mean, it was, I think, in the mid 90s. So, okay, 30 years ago, a little bit more maybe. Still, it tells you that either those in attendance are wrestling historians or most of those in attendance were millennials that watched wrestling when they were teenagers. So Adam Pearce, though, comes out and said Lynch issued an open challenge that was accepted by Sky, so the match was on. And Pearce said it was official. All right, so Becky Lynch and Io Sky for the Women's Intercontinental Championship was official here. And Becky Lynch did end up beating Sky to retain the Women's Championship because of the following. Io rolls Becky Lynch inside the ring. Asuka comes out and tripped Sky on the apron while the ref was focused on Becky. She then hit a manhandle slam that looked really good, by the way. And she got the victory. Lynch leaves. That was it. A "We Want Kyrie" chant did end up breaking out again. If we want change, guys, and you really feel strongly about Kyrie Sane being brought back, then you're going to have to keep this up. Now, there are rumors floating around and reports, quote unquote, that the reason she was let go is because she wanted to move back to Japan. We don't know how true that is. I would take that with a grain of salt. It could be the company covering their ass that it wasn't me, it was them. It was her. See, she wanted to go back. It wasn't us. It could be total bullshit, but it also could be totally true. We'll find out what's true and not eventually. Truth always does seem to find its way out, but wanted to at least point that to your attention that it could have been because she was interested in going back to Japan. Could be. I would vote no, but it's at least possible. So, all right, some backstage stuff. In the interest of time, I won't go over with El Grande and Rey Mysterio. Byron Saxton interviewed Jimmy and Jay. Not much came of that. LA Knight did come in here to interrupt, and he asked if they had seats at the table, and the Usos told him it was family business. LA said that the bloodline ran roughshod over everyone, but the power eventually corrupts, and that's when it becomes his business. So LA Knight continuing to save face and be a part of the kind of main events, but ultimately not win anything. It's been his MO for 3 years now. So Cole plugged the WWE podcast schedule, not mine, but the official one, including Cody Rhodes interviewing Liv Morgan and Paige on Stephanie McMahon's podcast. You know, it's always interesting with these shows to me. When you have people who are employed by the company interviewing other people employed by the company, there's only so much you can talk about. Or let me rephrase that. There's only so much you can talk about truthfully. And I'm not crapping on even Cody Rhodes or Liv or anybody that has any of these shows, but I want those listening to understand that if you don't think they have a vested interest in protecting everything that is TKO or their jobs, their own security and livelihood, if you don't think that's their first priority, then you don't know human beings. You're not familiar with human nature. Because while these shows can be interesting, the conversations can be interesting, you do wonder what truth you're getting, what they're leaving out, what they're manipulating. And hey, we're all guilty. If you were in the same position, I know if I was, I wouldn't be shitting all over the company while I'm employed, making a very good living. I wouldn't be criticizing outwardly, publicly, my issues and grievances with the company that I'm currently employed with. So while these shows, again, they may be interesting to you, I don't watch all of them. I see snippets and highlights and viral things that come from them, and that's kind of my extent for the moment. But just remember the audience that they're talking to and their current state of employment. I mean, WWE is endorsing these podcasts under their own umbrella, pushing them under their own umbrella with employees, well, I should say contractors that have a very high vested interest in maintaining their livelihoods, and they're not going to bite the hand that feeds them. That kind of stuff comes after when they have nothing left to lose. Maybe they're done with the company. Maybe they change to a different company. They don't think they're coming back. That's when interviews can get very interesting. Until then, it's going to be, oh, road stories. Tell me about road stories. Tell me how you got started, right? It's going to be the stuff that it can be interesting. But the real good stuff, you're not going to hear it. You're not going to hear it from any of these corporately endorsed podcasts. It's basically state-run radio. I think that's the perfect way to put it. And state-run radio can be interesting. I'm not saying it's boring. I'm not saying that these men and women have no star power. No one's going to listen. No. You're going to have a lot of people listen, but understand it's state-run radio. They're not being told what to say, but it's implied of the things they can and can't say. So moving on. Joe Hendry comes out and he's sitting in a chair holding his guitar. He sang a song about being on Raw. The lyrics included him acknowledging the OTC, yet wondering if they could fire Logan Paul. This, boy, I mean, I got to say, kind of a disappointment here for Joe Hendry. I thought there'd be more, but that was kind of it. The Vision's entrance music played, and Logan Paul and Austin Theory came out. They were irate and saying he couldn't be fired. I mean, I don't know why this, just because a guy that hasn't been on the main roster is all of a sudden saying that he should be fired. Why is that making him mad again? I don't know. Whatever. But he was throwing, as Pro Wrestling Net says, a shit fit. It's a perfect way to put it. That's exactly what he was doing for I don't know what reason. But he yelled at the fans and saying they're awful. Logan Paul did. And Theory said the gold belts make him and Logan winners, the tag titles he was referring to. Hendry said he watched WrestleMania and saw a couple of primetime losers. Theory shoved Hendry, who struck his pose and then fought both of them. And then Logan and Theory got the better of Hendry. That's when the Street Profits come out to save the day and side with Joe Hendry. Fine. It did not give Joe Hendry a lot of time. I thought he would have much more time. I know it was a concert, quote unquote. We've seen that before. We've seen rock concerts and others. We've seen Elias, if you remember him from several years ago. That is usually a setup for a heel or a babyface to interrupt. I mean, it's a segment that is nothing more than a table setter for someone to interrupt. And lo and behold, that's what we got. So Joe Hendry getting interrupted, sure. Him working with the tag team champions off the bat, good place. That's a good place for Joe Hendry to start. I think he's lost some momentum because the company did not put him on the main roster when he was at his peak popularity with his music and his entrance. They won't be able to recapture that because you just can't. That's the way life goes. You have to catch lightning when it's in a bottle and then put a cap on it, get it in there. And they didn't. Joe Hendry still gets a good reaction, but I don't think it's at the level it could have been when he was at his all-time high 12, 18 months ago. We'll see, though. I think he'll do fine. I'm not saying he's going to get booed or get no reaction, but it's just not, again, not at the peak that he was. So, okay, some Grayson Waller stuff backstage, but we got to move on. Rey Mysterio and El Grande Americano was the next match that lasted 8.5 minutes. Rey Mysterio beats El Grande Americano, who was with Bravo and Rayo. The finish was Bravo tripping Rey while Rayo distracted the referee, and then Rayo tried to slide the steel plate into Americano's mask, but Rey took out Rayo, and then Americano picked up the steel plate and loaded it into his mask. But El Grande Americano stopped him, and then Rey hit the 619, dropped the dime, got the victory. Rey left the ring afterwards, and that's when the original Grande Americano attacked the other one, and the referees came out and they pulled them apart. And fine. An Asuka video promo aired, and Asuka said Io is ungrateful, selfish, and her greatest failure. Asuka said she has spared Sky until now because she thought they could still be a family again. But Sky ruined it, and Asuka said she would teach Sky one final lesson. She is not and will never be ready for Asuka. Fine. Again, I know I'm saying fine for some of these, but some of these don't require a lot of commentary. Just, okay, it's fine. I mean, Asuka getting any kind of promo time beyond saying no one's ready for Asuka is always good. Those that aren't English-speaking proficient promo, have any kind of that promo ability, they found ways around it, and I'm glad. I'm glad that we're getting this. This happened with Stephanie Becker on the road to WrestleMania, Shinsuke Nakamura. That was very successful with Seth Rollins a couple years ago. I love that program. We got it now with Asuka. Others I'm sure that I'm not remembering. But it works. It works. And it allows them, even though... Now, look, I think generally they should learn how to speak English proficiently. I think that's a skill that is invaluable to those who are performing for a majority English-speaking audience. I mean, I don't want to hear from people, oh, no, she shouldn't have to learn. No, yeah, she should. Yeah, she should. I mean, you can't force anybody, but you are doing yourself and the company a disservice, I think, by not being able to, or at least... And maybe they are attempting, but assuming they aren't attempting to learn how to speak English proficiently, you're doing everyone a disservice, the fans, the company, and yourself, because you're not able to communicate effectively with your audience. You say, well, body language and subtitles, that can only take you so far. Again, it's a great substitute, but I'd say it's an okay substitute. It's not a replacement. It's not the equivalent. And that's just a fact. The majority of fans, the wrestling fan, WWE fans, are English speaking. It's just the way it is. I don't care if that offends anybody. That's just a fact. It's a fact. I don't know the percentage. I don't know the percentage of the fans that speak English, but pro wrestling, WWE was born in America. Most of the people here, and yes, we do have an official language here. It's English. It's officially English. I don't want to hear, well, you guys don't have an official. Yeah, we do. It's on the books. It's English, just like everywhere else. But somehow it's offensive because America has an official language. That means just assimilate, right? That's all that means. You go to any other country. Go to any other country and tell them, no. You don't speak Spanish here. You don't speak French here. You don't speak Japanese. You're going to speak English because I'm here. No. See, everything's backwards here. No, there should be a shared culture like there is everywhere else, especially in first world countries. And you assimilate to them. They don't assimilate to you. That's the way it should be. Everywhere. See, I'm an equal opportunist here. I go to Canada. You think I'm going to go over there and tell them in Canada, no, you guys, no, you don't speak English? You guys are stupid. No. That is a really bad move for a lot of reasons. Yeah, I don't go to Puerto Rico and say, wait a minute, you guys only speak Spanish? No, you got to speak English so I can understand. But somehow it's offensive in America when I say, if you come here, you should speak English. I don't want to get into why. It's not for this show. It's for another show. My point is for Asuka and others, they will be limited to some degree, varying degree, by not being able to speak English proficiently. It's just a fact. I don't care if anyone doesn't like it. It's a fact. You can't tell me that not being able to communicate with your customer base effectively without subtitles or a translator doesn't affect the connection you have with said audience. It does. There's just the way it is. But truth is under attack these days. Hence why I have a War on Truth podcast. Okay. Obafemi and Grayson Waller then have the match. It's only the fourth match, or I shouldn't say the only. It's the fourth match of the night. That match was really quick, though. As imagine, a minute with Obafemi destroying Grayson Waller. And he hits his fall from grace finish for the victory. I mean, could you see this going any other way? There is absolutely no other outcome. This is one of those matches that if you have to bet your house on it, and there's one match during the year, this is the match you bet, because there is no scenario in which any other way. There's nothing else here that you could book that would make any sense. A DQ finish, the run. No. Obafemi wins, period. And he did. But after is really what the news is, because Obafemi, took the microphone and said he was feeling good. He said the fans were feeling good, but Waller wasn't. And he told the fans that he's going to announce an Obafemi Open Challenge. And he told anybody that wants to try him can step up, and he would be unforgiving and punish his opponents. This is funny. Powell, oh my God. Jason Powell, who does a great job. He just does. I'm giving them all kinds of free promotion, but that's okay. I think they're a great resource. He says, I thought this was Waller's night. It's good to know that he can try again every week until Oba calls off the open challenge. You've got this, Waller. That's great. Oh, that is a perfect response. Oh my gosh. I love that. Yeah. Hashtag let's go Waller. I mean, all right. Some Judgment Day Clubhouse stuff with Liv Morgan speaking with Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. And let's move on. Finn showed up at the end and tried to tell Perez that you can't trust the Judgment Day, and she basically pushed him away. So we then get Lyra Valkyria and Bayley taking on Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. That match went 9 minutes with Perez hitting Bayley with the pop rocks before giving her the 1, 2, 3, and Raquel and Roxanne win. Good match. Love the pop rocks finish. It's a great finish. It's a great I love it. It's so visually appealing, and it actually looks like a finish. It's not one of those transition moves. It looks devastating. It's quick. It's fun to watch. Again, it's stimulating to the eyes. It's just what a finish should be, and it's great. I love the finish there. So credit to all women here. Raquel and Roxanne win. Bayley continues her downward spiral. Bayley's career should be studied from that SummerSlam return. Remember when she returned with Io Shirai at the time before they rebranded her as Io Sky, and Dakota Kai. Oh yeah. When they reformed Damage Control, they attacked, who was it at the time? Bianca Belair. That's who it was. 4 years ago. Something that was a massive crossroads in Bayley's career. It's like poison was just injected into her career from that moment forward. And she hasn't been able to find the antidote, because that Damage Control group did nothing but damage, ironically, Bayley's career. It helped Dakota Kai in certain times, and Io Sky got on the map. So there's some, silver lining, right? But for Bayley, she was essentially a sideshow, she was in the shadows of her own group, and then just fell off a radar. I mean, she just then she heard voices in her head, and then now she's on a bad losing streak. I mean, I've got nothing but respect for Bayley, but you can't say the last several years for Bayley have been exactly a exhilarating creative display. It's just hasn't. So a Sol Ruca video package aired, and Corey Graves said that Ruca will sign her contract to join Raw on next week's show. So that's actually a nice little hook. And Sol Ruca, by the way, is not dead, despite that horrible table spot that she had in NXT. My God, she took a table bump off of some scaffolding or something. I got to remember where it was. But she went through two tables that were set up right next to each other, except for the fact that her body went through one table, but the table behind it, the only thing that broke that table was her head, and the table didn't even break, and her head hit the side of the table. It's really a miracle she's not dead. And I'm not saying that as trying to be dramatic or be funny. I'm not trying to be funny. If you watch that spot, it is disturbing. I'm shocked that she's able to be cleared this quickly. I can't rewatch it. I mean, it's in my head and I can't unsee it. So she got her head busted open, and that is the best possible scenario you could have had with something like that. You hit yourself. That is the worst way to hit a table that I can possibly imagine. The only worst way, which hopefully will never happen, is if you set up the table on its side and you use the edge to hit your throat or your face or something. Like, I guess that would be worse, or your neck, if you use the edge of the table, but it's always set up flat. And if you're setting it up flat, you couldn't design a worse way to hit the table. I've watched wrestling, as many of you have, for decades. I've never seen anyone hit a table like that. And it obviously wasn't supposed to be on purpose. I watched that. I go, holy shit. It may be, out of all the table spots I've ever seen, from the Dudley Boys to the Hardys, and they've taken some brutal bumps. That one, when it's directed at the head and it's not part of the plan, it's as scary as it can be. You could easily knock yourself. You really could have killed yourself. And I'm just glad that she's okay. So anybody that hasn't seen that spot and you're like, what are you talking about? You can watch it. I mean, it's not bloody and gory, but it's disturbing because you're just like, oh my, you could almost feel it. You can almost, it's one of those jump through the video feelings. It's crazy. So, all right, I've said enough of that. Okay. So Roman Reigns comes out, and we have OTC chants. And he said the company made Roman the title over his shoulder in spite of him and to take away from his shine. And Roman said it never worked. And Roman said the title doesn't make the man makes the title. I totally agree. And he said he put this strap in the main event of night 2 of WrestleMania. And he said he made the title relevant. It's not really true. And now the fans can be proud of the title and respect it. And the fans could acknowledge the title. And he asked Laredo to acknowledge him. Again, mostly true. But again, this championship, it has lineage all the way back to WCW. Roman hardly is the first one to make it. Now, he and Punk had one of the best WrestleMania matches of all time. That even includes some classics like Undertaker, Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25, Rock Austin at 15, 17, 19, specifically 17, as we all like to talk about. It's like the bar for the best WrestleMania, from the best promos to the best card to the best main event. It's up there with even Triple H, Undertaker, the 2 matches they had, the one with Shawn Michaels as the referee. It's up there with all of them. It was that good. It really was. I'm not just saying it because it's the most recent and fresh in my mind. It was that damn good. So Jacob Fatu interrupts pretty quickly, and Reigns said, Fatu, right on cue. And Roman said he gave Fatu a week to think, and he hoped that Fatu would make the right choice to unite the family rather than divide it. Jacob said he didn't need a week or even an hour. He recalled saying he didn't want the title. He needed it. And Fatu said Reigns didn't grind like he did. He said he grinded for 12 years without knowing what his next meal would be. And Fatu said Reigns and the Usos didn't call him. Oh, God. I'm going to keep going because... All right, Fatu said Solo Sikoa called him. Reigns said Solo couldn't even get a cup of coffee delivered. And Roman told Fatu to look around and asked him who runs the place. Reigns said things get hectic in WWE, but he never forgot about Fatu and was the one who signed off on your ass. Reigns said Fatu doesn't deserve to compete against him, and he didn't earn it. I like that. Yeah, again. Baby faces can tell opponents they didn't earn it. If you're telling me about the man making the man making the championship, not the championship making the man, this is how you make the championship. You make people earn it. This is exactly right. So Fatu said he would take everything from Reigns, and Fatu picked up the title belt, looked at it, and he left the ring. And I'm sorry. He put a choke on Reigns. And as I said, Reigns was sweating his ass off because of the apparent lack of air conditioning in the building. And Fatu said he would take everything, as I said, and that was it. And Roman, of course, agrees to Backlash. This is where the logic of attacking the champion makes no sense, but it's a logic that has been going on for just ever. And I guess it's not going anywhere, right? I mean, you get rewarded for bad behavior in the company. That's been proven time and again in storyline. If you don't get a championship match and the champion denies you, what do? Well, you kick and scream and cry and beat on the champion until they say, oh, you know what? I'm convinced. You're right. Let me put on the line what I just told you 5 seconds ago you didn't deserve. And again, it's pro wrestling and you got to have a main event. I understand that. You got to have a championship match, especially at PLEs. I understand. But everything is just negated by that person's bad behavior. So that shows your lack of discipline. And did you really mean everything you just said about the championship, that he didn't earn it, that the man makes the championship, not the championship making the man, and all of a sudden you're rewarding the bad behavior that you just condemned? It doesn't make sense. It's not Roman's fault. I'm not crapping on Roman for this. It's just the loopholes in the logic of professional wrestling that I cannot look past. But it's been something that is consistent for decades in the company, and it's not going anywhere. But we have, let's see here. I'll see your punk ass on Monday, Fatu said, and that's when Lee Fitting, good old Lee Fitting, and Paul Levesque had their credits on the show. I mean, it's effective. We all know Roman's not going to lose. It's putting Fatu in a position where we don't know if he's a babyface or heel. We just don't know. The fans are booing him. Roman Reigns is still a bigger star than Fatu is by miles. So they're trying to build a new star, and I appreciate that. It's what they should be doing. But it's confusing how we should feel. Just like coming out of Randy Cody. We don't know how the fuck we're supposed to feel. Now you got Fatu. We don't know how we're supposed to feel. Again, you hear the fans are like, boo. They don't know what they want to do. It's weird. So the reaction at Backlash is going to be interesting. I would imagine most of them are in Roman's corner. Fatu, I just cannot get behind. As far as a guy that I feel like is anywhere near ready for a championship run. He has a lot of work to do. I don't even like his character, I got to say. And it's not just because he's one of these toe the company line and told the fans to just stop being negative and just shut up and watch. So he basically, that's what he told us. And to that answer, I would say, in that response, I would say, go fuck yourself. I'm a paying customer. And just like any other organization, if I have a problem, I will voice that. And you're going to have to deal with it because you chose this line of work. So fuck off. That's what I would say. And yeah, I would say that. And you didn't say it to his face. Actually, like, okay, first of all, I don't think I'll ever be in that scenario, but even if I was, yeah, I would. Why? Again, like, people think threatening is different than actually like giving your opinion on a product. I'm talking about the product, I'm not attacking him on a personal level or his family. I'm saying from a professional standpoint. Yeah, I absolutely would. So, he could beat you up. Okay, then guess what? He's got way more to lose than I do. Cool, I'll sue him, and then I'll be a millionaire. I'll take a couple lumps and go to the doctor. Okay, fine. Okay. and then he's out of a job because it's going to be probably recorded because everything's recorded these days, and I'm a millionaire. Cool. Like, people have to think this through, it just makes no sense. Anyway, anybody that spews that corporate line can go fuck themselves as far as that goes. But Fatu, his character as a whole is, it's too animalistic for me. I know he's a werewolf. I get it. But most of the time I can't even understand what he's saying because it's slang on top of him yelling into the mic, on top of he doesn't use proper grammar. And I'm not asking him to recite Hamlet to me, right? Or some kind of Shakespeare novel. I'm not. But you have to be able to speak. He's kind of like Jay. They all kind of have that same problem. It's like, okay, I understand you're trying to be cool and slang and be angry, but be edgy and be also kind of topical and but also it'd be nice to be able to clearly communicate with your audience what in the hell you're actually trying to say. Like, use real words. Don't use meshed, like made up garble words. Like, just speak English. Coherent English. That's my preference. That's all I ask. This is just the basics. And some of you will probably say, oh, he's being racist. No, I hold this standard to everyone. Everyone should be able to communicate with the audience clearly and effectively. This has been true forever, for not just wrestling, but for all walks of life in every business, and not just business, personal, throughout all levels and parts of your life. But again, it's racist because I know what's coming, and that's fine. You want to think that I just don't care. It doesn't mean anything to me because that accusation's thrown around for so many different people that it has no basis. It means nothing to me because it's overused and overplayed, and it's anyway. But that's all I ask for. And that's partly why I don't like Fatu's character. There's not a lot to it. He's just always angry and shaking his head. And maybe many of you may say, and I thought the same thing, well, what about Umaga? Now, Umaga, to me, was a more interesting. I actually really liked Umaga. I don't think I realized how much I appreciated his character now until later when I watch him work. And this was in the mid-2000s where he was part of 3 Minute Warning and then broke out on his own. And the problem or the difference is, yes, he acted somewhat similar in the head shaking and the animalistic type of approach to his matches. But he also had a mouthpiece that did a very good job speaking on his behalf. That's a big deal. And so I think that I'm not asking for Fatu to have a manager, but Umaga and Fatu are not equals. They had some key differences. And I think Umaga had the right formula. But all right, that's all I got to say. But everybody, thank you so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed this. I will be back with a video in the next day or so. I got to pick my topic, and then I'll put it out on Twitter, or rather on Patreon, and maybe later on Twitter and other places. I'll throw some other stuff on. So patreon.com/WWE podcast, of course, is the place to go. And that's it for me. Thanks, everybody. Talk soon.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.